Welcome to this Functional Skills Level 1 Maths training video. This video contains information and guidance on Criterion 2. Recognize and use positive and negative numbers. At Level 1, and by the end of this session, you should be able to understand and identify positive and negative numbers, compare positive and negative numbers, and complete calculations using positive and negative numbers. Positive numbers are numbers greater than 0. They don't have a sign in front of them. Examples include 1, 5, and 100. Negative numbers are numbers less than 0. They have a minus sign in front of them. Examples include -1, -5, and -100. If we count backwards from 0, -1 would be the first negative number, followed by -2, -3, -4, and so on. In everyday life, you may be asked to use positive and negative numbers in several different contexts. For example, counting money or amounts, scoring points in different games and sports, reading and calculating temperatures, working out overdrafts, or even calculating depths below sea level. Which of the following are negative numbers? Pause the video while you work out the answer, then press play when you're ready to continue. Did you get it right? The negative numbers can be identified by the minus symbol used at the start of each number. The remaining numbers are positive. Let's look at positive and negative numbers on a number line. A number line is a straight line with numbers placed at equal intervals along its length. For example, this number line counts from -4 to 4. The positive numbers are placed to the right of 0 on this number line. The largest number on this number line is 4. The negative numbers are placed to the left of the 0 on this number line. The smallest number on this number line is -4. The numbers to the left, the negative numbers, are smaller values. For example, -4 is actually smaller than -3, and -2 is actually smaller than -1. Remember that negative numbers work in the opposite way to positive numbers. Where 10 is larger than 5, -10 is smaller than -5. When comparing different positive and negative numbers, there are 3 rules to remember. Positive versus positive. When comparing two positive numbers, higher positive numbers are greater. For example, 77 is greater than 73. Negative versus negative. When comparing two negative numbers, higher negative numbers are smaller. For example, -12 is greater than -15. Positive versus negative. When comparing a positive number to a negative number, the positive number is always greater than the negative number. For example, 1 is greater than -1. Let's use this information to compare positive and negative numbers. Use greater than or less than to complete the following statements. Remember that the open part of the symbol always points to the largest number. For example, 86 is greater than 68. Pause the video while you work out the answers, then press play when you're ready to continue. Let's check our answers. 53 is less than 58. 106 is greater than minus 107. Minus 484 is less than 484. Minus 987 is less than minus 789. 210 is greater than 201. Minus 11 is less than minus 1. Let's move on to adding positive and negative numbers. When adding two positive numbers, the result is positive. This is normal addition. For example, 7 plus 2 equals 9. When adding two negative numbers, the result is negative. The number becomes even smaller. For example, minus 3 plus minus 2 equals minus 5. When adding a positive number to a negative number, count forwards by the amount you're adding. For example, minus 3 plus 2 equals minus 1. When adding a negative number to a positive number, count backwards by the amount you're adding. Essentially, it's like you're subtracting. For example, 4 plus minus 2 equals 2. It may be useful to draw a number line in your exam to help you. Let's use this information to add positive and negative numbers. Calculate the following. Try to complete each of these questions without using a calculator. Pause the video while you answer each question, then press play when you're ready to continue. Let's take a look at the answers. Did you get them right? If you answered any incorrectly, pause the video while you have another go. When subtracting a positive number from another positive number, follow normal subtraction rules. For example, 23 minus 8 equals 15. When subtracting a positive number from a negative number, treat it like adding two negatives. For example, minus 5 minus 3 equals minus 8. When subtracting a negative number from a positive number, add the values. A good way to remember this is to imagine the two negative symbols next to one another, combining to make a plus or addition symbol. For example, 2 minus minus 3 equals 5. When subtracting a negative number from another negative number, treat it like adding a positive number. Again, imagine the two negative symbols next to one another, combining to make an addition symbol. For example, minus 5 minus minus 3 equals minus 2. Let's use this information to subtract positive and negative numbers. Calculate the following. Try to complete each of these questions without using a calculator. Pause the video while you answer the questions, then press play when you're ready to continue. Let's take a look at the answers. Did you get them right? If you answered any incorrectly, pause the video while you have another go, then press play to move on to multiplication. Let's move on to multiplying positive and negative numbers. A positive multiplied by a positive will always result in a positive answer. For example, 3 multiplied by 4 equals 12. A negative multiplied by a negative will always give a positive answer. For example, minus 3 multiplied by minus 4 equals 12. When both numbers have the same sign, they can be both positive or both negative. The product is always positive. Think of multiplying two negatives as removing a negative, which results in a positive. You could also visualize the two negative signs combining to create a positive sign. A positive multiplied by a negative will always result in a negative answer. For example, 3 multiplied by -4 equals -12. This is interchangeable. If the question is swapped around and a negative number is multiplied by a positive number, the answer will still always be negative. For example, -3 multiplied by 4 equals -12. When both numbers have different signs, one positive and one negative, then the product is negative because you are combining a positive number with a negative effect. Let's use this information to multiply positive and negative numbers. Calculate the following. Try to complete each of these questions without using a calculator. Pause the video while you answer the questions, then press play when you're ready to continue. Let's take a look at the answers. Did you get them right? If you answered any incorrectly, pause the video while you have another go, then press play to move on to division. A positive divided by a positive always equals a positive. For example, 12 divided by 3 equals 4. Both 12 and 3 are positive. Therefore, the answer will also be positive. A negative divided by a negative also equals a positive. For example, -15 divided by -3 equals 5. Both -15 and -3 are negative, which will result in a positive answer. Just like multiplication, the negative symbols cancel each other out. Remember, if you divide two numbers that are both positive or both negative, the answer will always be positive. Dividing two negatives is like cancelling out the negative signs. A positive divided by a negative always equals a negative. For example, 12 divided by -3 equals -4. Although 12 is positive, -3 is negative, which means the answer will also be negative. A negative divided by a positive also always equals a negative. For example, -15 divided by 3 equals -5. -15 is negative and 3 is positive, which results in the answer being negative. Remember, when you divide two numbers that have different signs, one positive and one negative, the answer is negative. This is because dividing a positive number by a negative or vice versa results in a negative outcome. Let's use this information to divide positive and negative numbers. Calculate the following. Try to complete each of these questions without using a calculator. Pause the video while you answer the questions, then press play when you're ready to continue. Let's take a look at the answers. Did you get them right? If you answered any incorrectly, pause the video while you have another go. Here are some problem-solving questions that use positive and negative numbers. The temperature is 6 degrees Celsius. It drops by 11 degrees. What is the new temperature? A freezer's temperature is -3 degrees Celsius. After a malfunction, the temperature is 7 degrees higher. What is the new temperature in the freezer? A seagull is 20 meters above sea level. Fish can be found 35 meters below sea level. Sea level is measured at 0 meters. How far does the seagull have to travel to catch a fish? Pause the video while you work out the answers, then press play when you're ready to continue. Let's review the answers. The first question uses the word drops, which tells us we need to subtract. The starting temperature was 6 degrees Celsius, and the change was 11 degrees. Therefore, we need to calculate 6 minus 11, which gives us an answer of minus 5 degrees Celsius. Question B uses the word higher, which tells us we need to add the numbers. The starting temperature was minus 3 degrees Celsius, and the change was 7 degrees Celsius. Therefore, we need to calculate minus 3 plus 7, which gives us an answer of 4 degrees Celsius. Question C uses the words above and below sea level. Therefore, we need to think about the context of the question. Sea level is 0 meters. The seagull is 20 meters above sea level. We know this is a positive number because of the word above. The fish is 35 meters below sea level. To calculate how far the seagull must travel, we need to work out how far it is to sea level and then to the fish. From the seagull's current height of 20 meters to sea level, the distance is 20 meters. From sea level to the fish is a further 35 meters. We need to add the values as though they are both positive. 20 plus 35 equals 55 meters. Here is a practice exam question, which is worth 5 marks. Often, exam questions will require you to apply your knowledge of different criteria. Let's take a look. You are a member of a gardening club. You have been asked to repaint the fence in the garden. There are 7 fence panels. Each fence panel will need 4 liters of paint. Each tin of paint costs £12. There are 5 liters of paint in each tin. You have a budget of £75. Do you have enough money to paint all of the fence panels? Pause the video while you answer the question, then press play when you're ready to continue. Let's work through the answer. The question is asking if we have enough money with £75 to paint the fence panels. First, we need to work out how many liters of paint we will need for the fence panels. To do this, we need to multiply the number of fence panels by how much paint each one needs. 7 multiplied by 4 equals 28. The tins each contain 5 liters of paint. Therefore, we need to calculate how many full tins we will need. To calculate this, divide the amount of paint we need for the fence panels by the amount of paint in each tin. 28 divided by 5 equals 5.8 tins. We cannot buy 5.8 tins of paint. Therefore, we need to round up to the next whole number, which is 6. Next, we must work out how much the 6 tins will cost. Each tin is £12. 12 multiplied by 6 equals 72. Finally, compare the answer to the budget and state whether there is enough money to buy the paint needed to paint the fence panels. £72 is less than the budget of £75. Therefore, yes, there is enough money to paint all the fence panels. You should now be able to understand and identify positive and negative numbers, compare positive and negative numbers, and complete calculations using positive and negative numbers. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.